I'll record this. Now, so in the last class, we have discussed how to derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph. So now we know what is a hydrograph. Hydrograph is basically a plot of discharge versus time. And from the given flood hydrograph, you can derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph. And in the previous classes, we have discussed the various components of the flood hydrograph, and that is the point of rise and the peak of the hydrograph and the inflection point and the falling limb and the rising limb of the hydrograph, and all these things we have already discussed. And we have also discussed how to separate the base flow component from the given flood hydrograph. So now today we shall discuss how to derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph. Now, the unit hydrograph is defined as the hydrograph of storm runoff resulting from an isolated storm of some unit duration occurring uniformly over the entire catchment produces a unit volume that is equal to 1 centimeter. So now this is the definition of the unit hydrograph. The unit hydrograph is defined as the hydrograph of storm runoff which has resulted from an isolated storm having a unit duration and which occurs uniformly over the entire catchment area, thereby which produces a volume of runoff is equal to 1 centimeter. Now, these are the following steps to be followed in order to derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph. So now, the derivation of the unit hydrograph. So the following steps are followed to derive a unit hydrograph from an observed flood hydrograph. That is, first step is select from the records available an isolated or single peak intense storm which occurring uniformly over the catchment area and which has produced the volume of runoff, appreciable runoff, more than 1 centimeter. More than 1 centimeter, because we are deriving a unit hydrograph. So unit hydrograph which produces a volume of runoff is equal to 1 centimeter. So we have to select from the available record a single isolated storm which has produced a runoff volume greater than 1 centimeter, say about 8 to 16 centimeters. So it should be greater than 1 centimeter because we are going to derive a unit hydrograph from the observed hydrograph. Now, the unit period selected should be such that the excess rainfall or the PNET occurs uniformly over the entire catchment area. So whatever the excess rainfall, that is the PNET, after deducting the losses, it should occur uniformly over the entire catchment area. And large unit periods are required for large basins. And the unit period may be in the range of 15 to 30% of the peak time period. That is from the time of the beginning of the surface runoff to the peak. So that is called as the time period. So it can be taken as 15 to 30% of the peak time period. That is from the time from the beginning. Now the unit period may be about 15 to 30% of the peak time period. That is from the time from the beginning of the surface runoff to the peak of the hydrograph. So the typical unit period may be 3 hours, 6 hours, or it may be multiples of 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, like that. You may have any unit period. So the time of concentration may be little longer than the peak time period. So these things we have already discussed in the various components of a flood hydrograph. Now we have to derive the unit hydrograph from the flood hydrograph. So the first step you need to select is from the available records, you have to an isolated storm which has produced an appreciable runoff greater than 1 centimeter and which occurs uniformly over the entire catchment area. So now select a flood hydrograph which has resulted from a unit storm chosen in the item above. So we have selected a single peak intense storm which has produced a volume of runoff greater than 1 centimeter and which is occurring uniformly over the entire catchment area. So now the second step is we have to separate the base flow from the total runoff. Whatever the total runoff, you have to deduct this base flow from the observed flood hydrograph by the well-known base flow separation procedure. So we know what are the 3 methods or 4 methods by which we can separate the base flow component from the total hydrograph. Now, from the ordinates of the total runoff hydrograph at regular intervals, deduct the corresponding ordinates of the base flow to obtain the ordinates of direct runoff. First, we have to draw the observed flood hydrograph, that is discharge versus time, and then we have to calculate the total runoff ordinates from the observed hydrograph. Then from the total runoff ordinates of the observed flood hydrograph, we have to deduct the base flow ordinates in order to get the direct runoff ordinates. So from the ordinates of the total runoff hydrograph at regular time interval, deduct the corresponding ordinates of the base flow to obtain the ordinates of the direct runoff. So now divide the volume of direct runoff by the area of the drainage basin to obtain the net precipitation depth over the basin. Now, once you find the ordinates of the direct runoff ordinates, so you take the summation of the direct runoff ordinates. So divide the volume of direct runoff by the area of the drainage basin or the area of the catchment area to obtain the net precipitation depth over the basin. So once you get this net precipitation depth, then divide each of the ordinates of the direct runoff by the net precipitation depth to obtain the ordinates of the unit hydrograph. So next, plot the ordinates of the unit hydrograph against time since the beginning of the direct runoff. So this will give the unit hydrograph for the basin for the duration of the unit storm, producing the flood hydrograph selected in item 1. So this procedure you need to follow in order to derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph. So first step is from the available record, we have to select an isolated storm which has occurring uniformly over the entire catchment area, which produces a volume of runoff which should be greater than 1 centimeter, say anything above 1 centimeter. Then we have to select the unit period. So it is in the range of 15 to 30% of the peak time period, that is from the beginning of the surface runoff to the peak of the hydrograph. Then from the total hydrograph, we have to find out the total runoff ordinates. So that is known as TRO. So from the total runoff ordinates, we have to deduct the base flow ordinates. So that is known as BFO. So TRO minus BFO will give you the direct runoff ordinates. So these direct runoff ordinates volume should be divided by the area of the catchment to get the net precipitation depth. In centimeters or meter. So again, each of these direct runoff ordinates should be divided by the net precipitation depth in order to get the ordinates of the unit hydrograph. Now we shall look at this figure. So now here you can clearly understand the concept. So now here you have a flood hydrograph, so which has resulted from a isolated storm. So from the available records, we have to select a isolated storm. So it is a plot of discharge versus time in days or minutes. Now this is the total hydrograph that you have plotted in a graph sheet with the available data. Now, so these are the total runoff ordinates from this point to this point. These are the total runoff ordinates, so which is known as the TRO, total runoff ordinates. From this point to this point, whatever the vertical height, you can see at different time intervals. So this will give you the total runoff ordinates. Now, you have to separate the base flow from the observed total runoff hydrograph. So these components are known as the base flow ordinates. So it is abbreviated as BFO. So you have to deduct the base flow ordinates from the total runoff ordinates in order to get the direct runoff ordinates. So the direct runoff ordinates is nothing but the vertical height from this point to this point. So this is known as the direct runoff ordinates. So the direct runoff ordinates, whatever the direct runoff ordinates after deducting the base flow ordinates from the total runoff ordinates, you will get the direct runoff ordinates. So this direct runoff ordinates, whatever the volume of direct runoff ordinates, so this has to be divided by the area of the catchment. Area of the catchment. Now you can see here, this is the net precipitation depth. You need to find the net precipitation depth. So this net precipitation depth is nothing but sigma q dt, that is the sum of the direct runoff ordinates, that divided by the area of the catchment, So that will give you the net precipitation depth in centimeters or meter. So here the sigma q dt, so it is, after adding all the direct runoff ordinate, it works out to be 986 cumex, 986 cumex, and the duration of the storm is 3 hours. So you can convert here 3 into 60 into 60 divided by the area of the catchment is 40 kilometers square, 40 kilometers square. So thereby you will get the net precipitation depth. So once you get the net precipitation depth, you have to divide each of these direct runoff ordinates by the net precipitation depth to get the ordinates of the unit hydrograph. Now you can see here derivation of unit hydrograph. So here what you have to do is you have to plot the total runoff hydrographs. So at regular time interval, you have to find the total runoff ordinates. What are the total runoff ordinates? That is known as TRO, total runoff ordinates. And from the total runoff ordinates, you have to deduct the base flow ordinates. So that will give you the direct runoff ordinates. Now you can see here, DRO is nothing but the direct runoff ordinates. That is equal to the total runoff ordinates minus the base flow ordinates. So thereby you will get the direct runoff ordinates. What are the direct runoff? Here in this case, for example, the total runoff ordinates is about 120 cumex minus the base flow ordinate is about 45. So 120 minus 45 will be the direct runoff ordinates. So next you have to find the sum of all the direct runoff ordinates, that is sigma q direct runoff ordinates, that is equal to 986 cumex. So when you plot it on a graph, so this problem again we shall discuss. So we'll get the direct runoff ordinates as 986 cumex. So next you have to divide each of these direct runoff ordinates by the net precipitation depth, whatever the net precipitation depth, in order to get the ordinates of the unit hydrograph. So now you can see here the unit hydrograph starts from the point of rise of the total runoff hydrograph. So here, this is the starting point of the total runoff hydrograph. So the point of rise of the hydrograph will be the starting point of the unit hydrograph. So now whatever the figure that you see, so this is the ordinates of the unit hydrograph. So ordinates of the unit hydrograph. Now the area under this curve will be equal to 1 centimeter, because the unit hydrograph definition is a unit hydrograph is a hydrograph having unit duration which is occurring uniformly over the catchment area and which produces a volume of runoff is equal to 1 centimeter. Now here, when these are the direct runoff ordinates, correct? Direct runoff ordinates. So that is divided by the net precipitation depth. You will get the ordinates of the unit hydrograph. So next, if you take sigma of the ordinates of unit hydrograph divided by the area of the catchment, which will produce a volume of runoff is equal to 1 centimeter. That means the area under this curve is equal to 1 centimeter. So that is our basic definition. That means the unit hydrograph should produce a volume of runoff is equal to 1 centimeter. Now you can see here. So this is the explanation. So first you have to find out the total runoff ordinates. So next minus the base flow ordinates. So we'll get the direct runoff ordinates. So this direct runoff ordinates divided by the net precipitation depth. You will get the unit hydrograph ordinates. So here P is equal to total rainfall and P net is the net precipitation from the hydrograph or direct runoff as equivalent to the depth of the over the basin. You know how to separate the hydrograph into two components. One is the net rainfall, the other one is the losses The losses are due to infiltration and other thing. And A is the area of the drainage basin. And here QD is nothing but the direct runoff ordinates. That is sigma QD is nothing but the summation of all the direct runoff ordinates. And here TRO is nothing but the total runoff ordinates. And time T is the time interval between successive direct runoff ordinates. And BFO is nothing but the base flow ordinates. So this is the procedure to derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph. Now these are the components of a unit hydrograph. That is the elements of a unit hydrograph. The various elements of a unit hydrograph is shown as, that is the base width. This is the base width of the unit hydrograph. That is time from the beginning of the point of rise of the hydrograph to the recession point. So this time is called as the base width, or it is also called as time base of the unit hydrograph. Now this is the peak of the unit hydrograph that will be in Qmax, and you know what is the inflection point. Up to this point there will be a discharge into the catchment area, after which there will be a gradual withdrawal of the discharge. So this will be in the depleting form, and the area under the curve produces a volume of runoff is equal to 1 centimeter. So now this is the element of the unit hydrograph, or the component of the hydrograph. So this is the unit time period, and this is the P net of the unit hydrograph, and this is the CG of the P net of the unit hydrograph. And from the CG of the P net of the unit hydrograph to the peak of the unit hydrograph is called as the lag time, or the basin lag time. And from the beginning of the storm, to the peak of the storm, so this is called as the time to peak, from the beginning of the storm to the peak of the storm. And from the end of the storm to the end of this recession period is called as the recession time in unit hydrograph theory. So from the end of the net line, to the recession, last point of the recession limb of the unit hydrograph is called as the recession time period, or recession time. And the time of concentration is nothing but, it is the distance from the end of the net line to the inflection point. Inflection point is called as the time of concentration. Even after the end of the rainfall, there will be a surface runoff up to this point, that is inflection point. So this is known as the time of concentration. So earlier in the previous classes, we have discussed what is time of concentration. It is the time taken by the rainwater which has fallen on the remotest part of the catchment area to reach the concentration point is called as the time of concentration. So these are the elements or the components of the unit hydrograph. So unit hydrograph is a hydrograph which has resulted from a unit storm having a unit duration occurring uniformly over the entire catchment area, which produces a volume of runoff is equal to 1 centimeter. Now you can see here, these are some of the definition. Unit storm, the storm of unit duration, that is the duration of the unit hydrograph regardless of its intensity is called as unit storm. Whatever may be the unit storm, intensity of the storm, but it is having a unit duration, hence it is called as a unit storm. Next, unit period, the time duration of the unit storm, that is the duration of the unit hydrograph is called as unit period. And the lag time is the time from the center of the unit storm to the peak of the unit hydrograph is called as the lag time, or the basin lag time. And the recession time, the duration of the direct surface runoff after the end of the excess rain or net rainfall is called as the recession time in unit hydrograph analysis. Now you can see here, this is the end of the net rain to the end of the surface runoff is called as the recession time in unit hydrograph theory. Now, so basically unit hydrograph, to derive a unit hydrograph, we have selected a observed flood hydrograph from which we have derived the unit hydrograph. So now there are some propositions of the unit hydrograph, or it is also called as the assumptions These are some of the assumptions made in the unit hydrograph theory. So now the following are the basic assumptions, or it is also called as the propositions of unit hydrograph. So that means the first assumption is same runoff duration. For all unit storms of different intensity, rainfall intensity, the period of surface runoff or the time base or the base width or the base period. So this is the time base or base width or base period for all unit storm of having different intensities of rainfall. The time base or the base width or the base period is approximately assumed to be same, although they may produce different runoff volumes. The intensity of the rainfall may be different, and for all unit storm, the time base or the base width or the base period is assumed to be same. So this is the first assumption. Second one, proportional ordinates. For unit storm of different rainfall intensity, the ordinates, the vertical ordinates of the hydrograph at any time interval, at any given time, are in the same proportion as the rainfall intensities. So that means whatever the vertical ordinates, so these are nothing but the vertical ordinates of the unit hydrograph. These are the vertical ordinates of the unit hydrograph. The vertical ordinates are in same proportion, correct? For unit storms of different intensities, the ordinates of the unit hydrograph at any given time are in the same proportion as the rainfall intensity. So next is the principle of superposition. Principle of superposition. Suppose if there is a continuous storm or an isolated storm of uniform intensity net rain, they may be divided into unit storms, and hydrograph of runoff for each storms are obtained, and the ordinates are added with appropriate lag time to get the combined hydrograph. So now here, suppose if you have a continuous storm having or an isolated storm of uniform intensity of net rain, which may be divided into unit storms, and hydrograph of runoff for each of these storms can be obtained, and they can be combined. They can be combined to get the combined hydrograph. So wherever, if you have a very large area, suppose if the area of the catchment is greater than 5,000 kilometers, in such a case, it becomes very difficult to plot derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph, because the area is too large. So in such a case, the area is divided into principal sub-area. Now you can see here the principle of superposition. If there is a continuous storm or an isolated storm of uniform intensity net rain, they may be divided into unit storms, and the hydrograph of runoff for each storms obtained, and the ordinates are added with appropriate lag time to get the combined hydrograph. So there is a network issue. So I request all of you to mark your attendance in the chat box. Am I audible? Hello, please mark your attendance in the chat box. Hello. Now I am audible. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the third assumption is principle of superposition, and the fourth assumption is same distribution percentage. If the total period of surface runoff that is the time base or the base width, is divided into equal time interval, the percentage of surface runoff that occurs during each of these time period will be same for all unit storms of different intensity. So these are the basic assumptions that has been made in the derivation of the unit hydrograph. That means the first one is the same runoff duration. That means the time base or the base width or the base period remains same. Second one is ordinates. Pardon?
Sir, PPT share ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? Okay.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
Now?
ಹಾ ಸರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಈಗ.
Okay. So now these are the assumptions. One is the unit hydrograph will be having the same runoff duration. Second one is the proportional ordinates. The ordinates of different unit storm having different intensities at any given time interval will be having the same proportion. And third one is principle of superposition. If you have a continuous storm one after the other, in such a case you can have individual unit hydrographs, or you can divide that continuous storms into number of unit storms, and you can draw the unit hydrograph for each unit storm. Then you can combine all those and you can get a combined hydrograph. The fourth one is same distribution percentage. If the total time period of the surface runoff of the unit hydrograph is divided into equal time interval, the percentage of surface runoff that occurs during each of these time periods will be same for all unit storms of different intensities. So these are the propositions, or it is also called as the assumptions that are made in the derivation of the unit hydrograph. Now, the unit hydrograph theory has got certain limitations. Now, the limitations of the unit hydrograph. Certain limitations are inherent in the unit hydrograph theory. The runoff hydrograph reflects the combined effect of rainfall factors and loss factors and physiographic factors of the catchment area. So the combined hydrograph, whatever the combined hydrograph or the runoff hydrograph, which reflects the combined effect of rainfall factors. Rainfall factors means the intensity of the rainfall, the duration of the rainfall, and the areal extent of the rainfall, and the loss factors like the operation losses, the infiltration losses, and the other losses, and the physiographic factors of the catchment area like shape, slope, size of the catchment area. So the design storm continuing for several unit period may not have the same areal distribution for each time increment. So storm movement may also affect the propositions of unit hydrograph if the basin is large. So now you can see here, hence the unit hydrograph cannot be applied for basins larger than 5,000 kilometers. For basin larger than 5,000 kilometers, unit hydrograph for principal sub-areas or sub-basins are developed, and the hydrographs of runoff determined for each of these sub-areas, and these hydrographs can be combined through the flood routing procedure, or which is called as the principle of superposition, or by flood routing method to get the resulting hydrograph at the required section, so or a required place. So these are some of the assumptions and limitations of unit hydrograph theory. Now you can see the figure here, the proportional ordinate at the same time base. Now you have unit hydrograph of different, which has resulted from 2 unit storm. So these are the unit hydrograph which has resulted from 2 unit storm. Now you can see here, if you divide, this is the time base or the base width of the unit hydrograph. The base width of the unit hydrograph is nothing but the period of surface runoff remains same for all unit storm regardless of its intensity of rainfall. Now here, proportional ordinates at the same time base. Now the ordinates, whatever they are, what ordinates of each of these unit hydrograph will be proportional to the intensity of the rainfall, of that particular unit storm. And second assumption is, suppose if you have a continuous storm occurring over the catchment area uniformly, so then you can have, these are the corresponding unit hydrographs which has resulted from the unit storms. These are the unit hydrograph that has resulted from the So this continuous storm can be divided into number of unit storm, and these are the unit hydrograph which has resulted from each of these unit storm. Then you can combine this, and you can get the combined hydrograph. You can see here combined hydrograph obtained by summing the ordinates of 3 component hydrographs. So 1, 2, 3. Here you have 1, 2, 3. So then you can combine all this and you can have a combined unit hydrograph. So hydrograph corresponding to storm 1, 2, 3. So here you have 3 storms, continuous storm, so which is divided into a unit storm having a unit duration, and you can have separate unit hydrograph. Then the ordinates of this unit hydrograph can be combined to get the combined hydrograph. Now you can see here the same percentage, distribution percentage, same for all unit storm. So now here you have 3 unit storm. So these are the corresponding unit hydrograph which has resulted from these 3 unit storm. And here whatever the percentage of rainfall at any given time interval will be in proportion to its intensity of rainfall. So these are the 3 assumptions that has been made in the derivation of unit hydrograph. That means the first one is proportional ordinates. The second one is the principle of superposition. That means you are combining the continuous storms which is divided into unit storm, and you are combining the ordinates of these unit storms to get a combined hydrograph. So that is called as principle of superposition. And at any, if the total time period is divided into equal time, the percentage of surface runoff that occurs during each of these time period will be same for all unit storms of different rainfall intensities. And these are the limitations of unit hydrograph theory. So it cannot be applied for an area having greater than 5,000 kilometers. In such a case, the area is divided into sub areas or principal areas. And for each of these sub areas or principal areas, separate hydrographs are drawn. And these hydrographs, separate hydrographs can be combined by, you have a special method known as flood routing method, by which you can combine all these individual or principal basin hydrograph. Then you can get a combined unit hydrograph for the entire basin. So next class we shall take up with the numerical problems on unit hydrographs. So how to derive a unit hydrograph from the observed flood hydrograph. So okay. So I'll be ending the class, ending the session. So please mark your attendance in the chat box. So we shall meet tomorrow at 9:20. So we shall work out numerical problems on unit hydrograph theory. So, hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Ella vaccinations tondra. ಎಲ್ಲರದು ಆಯ್ತಾ ತಗೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೋಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ತಗೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೋ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಯಾರು ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ವಾ ಏನು ನಾಚಿಕೆ ಪಡ್ಕೋಬಿಡಿ ಹಲೋ